What level of Nightmare Dungeon should you do in Season 1 with the changes that happened? Also, which activities from 50 to 100 level you up now the fastest? Let's first look at the Nightmare Dungeon changes. And these are actually significant, especially World Tier 3 and 4 are different. As you beat the Capstone Dungeon with level 40, 45, and get into World Tier 3, the Nightmare Tier, you can start with the Tier 1 Sigil. In World Tier 3, Tier 1 Sigil get plus 53 monster levels, not 54 as in World Tier 4. So straight away, the monsters would be 54. And here comes the thing now. The bonus XP you gain is capped at 6 level above you. So if you're level 48 and you're doing a Nightmare Sigil 1, that's your optimal XP gain. Now, obviously, if you could be doing this Nightmare Sigil 1 with level 42, 45 already, and it's going smooth and fast through, that's fantastic. But there's no need to go higher at all. Yes, sure, you would get higher glyph XP, but you'll get higher glyph XP in the long run anyways. But there's zero bonus gain. The only thing that gets higher is the end of the dungeon experience, and obviously the glyph XP. But the end of the dungeon experience gets higher by, like, let's say 5k per sigil tier. So it's really not worth it to slow yourself down just for the sake of doing tiers higher of Nightmare Dungeon. Now, as always, if you're level 52 and you can already blast through tier 10s with the same speed as tier 6s, yes, you should be doing the tier 10s, especially with a barber glyph. But if you notice that you're dying too much and dying just slows you down significantly, make sure to do the level appropriate content and stack your ego back into the box. Because as a level 74, I can already tier 55 dungeons because I want to push my glyphs faster. Realistically, those with level 45s, I'm just 2-3 minutes faster per dungeon. That doesn't sound like much, but if I do 10 per hour, 2-3 minutes faster suddenly becomes 20 minutes. Now, how does that change to World Tier 4 though? Let's say you're level 60 and you already jump over to World Tier 4. There's a trick there, interestingly enough, because if you get level 60 and jump over to World Tier 4, then everyone is level 73, 75. So a significant difference in levels, and actually you're not getting any bonus for killing these nerds. But if you did keep your strongholds up, you can actually go in World Tier 4 to the strongholds and they will scale to your level. But since you're in World Tier 4, you're still getting the bonus XP of World Tier 4. So as a little tip, keep your strongholds up. I actually did 3 or 4 strongholds for Renown, but the rest I completely kept for World Tier 4. And I went from level 60 to 63 just by doing strongholds really quick in succession. And then I was ready for Nightmare Tiers 21, because that's a little bit of the problem. As you jump from Nightmare to Torment, from World Tier 3 to World Tier 4, you go from Tier 20 to Tier 21. And that's only one sigil level. But World Tier 4 enemies are tougher, do more damage, take more damage, they break resistances, and they have more affixes as well, because they suddenly have 4 affixes, and you're way more likely to see lightning pillars and all the other shenanigans that are so goddamn annoying. Now, when it comes down to the sigil tier, it also changes with the plus levels, because in World Tier 4, it's plus 54 instead of plus 53. And you can gain XP or bonus XP up to 10 levels above you. So now it looks obviously different. You have a tier 21 dungeon that is plus 54. So we end up with 75 opponents. You could be level 65 to get the optimal XP gain there. And that's why I'm saying it makes no sense if you're at a level 74 and clear 50s already, which is not really uncommon, because tier 50s are opponents that are level 104. Technically, you should be level 94 to do this. Do the dungeon you can clear the fastest, but also keep in mind that if you can clear tier 31 already, because 31 is the magical point where 85 opponents appear. If you can clear a tier 31, that's perfect. That's 85 opponents. You should be 75 to clear that. Why 31? Because that's the tier from which onwards the ultra uniques can drop. Now, again, you won't probably drop an ultra unique. Just keep in mind that that's the turning point. That's where it changes. Also, when you're doing nightmare dungeons, higher tiers don't give better loot, but they do give better loot. What changes is that the overall density of ancestral gear just gets higher. When I do a tier 21 or 30 dungeon, I have half my inventory full with ancestral gear as of late, and I'm really surprised about it. When I do a tier 50, 55, we've even done 56s, my whole inventory from one single run is full with ancestral gear. And if I look before season 1 and I think about it, that never really happened that much. I mean, I maybe get like 10 pieces, 8 pieces of ancestral, some sacreds, but I never get every single slot full in ancestral from one single dungeon. And that's been happening more and more as I've been going 50 plus and beyond, which is fantastic to see. The item power is the same. Again, you can get the same item power in tier 21s as you can get in tier 50s. You can get 800 and plus there, just with the chance to drop more ancestral items, or with the density of ancestrals generally being higher in higher tiers. It is easier to obviously get these high item power items, but you can get a 720 as well as you can get in tier 21. So that doesn't change with the chance to get low gear. But realistically, you will just gear up faster the higher tiers you can do. But again, keep in mind, plus 10 levels. And as always, if you can do it, do it. But we're playing an action RPG, so you want to get as efficient as possible, as fast as possible going through these. Now, if we're talking about what should you though do from 50 to 100, what is the most experience? It is actually Nightmare Dungeons, because everything else is not worth it anymore. They kind of nerfed Helltides. I mean, they buffed the overall enemy level in Helltides to plus 2 levels more than the overworld content actually is. So if the overworld content is 73 on joining, the Nightmare Dungeon itself is 75. The Helltide area itself is 75. And you now need 250 cinders. Those 250 cinders are still relatively fast together. And yes, as you actually enter World Tier 4, it's really amazing to get potions and to get your ancestral gear together to actually be able to do Nightmare Dungeons. I mean, as I was level 62, 63, I straight up went into the Helltides. I unlocked 4 boxes of mystery over the course of 2 Helltides, and I was completely equipped out. I mean, I went from Yellow Andy, from half legendary to some aspects, to completely equipped out. So it's still worth it to do, to just gap that gap, to get there, to get some materials to disenchant. But they really changed it in a way with a bonus XP gain that you're currently getting from Nightmare Dungeons and the density of the ancestral gear. And they actually nerfed how much ancestral and how much bonus items can drop from minions in non-Nightmare Dungeons, to a point that it's truly not worth it to do other content after level 50. Even the Tree of Whispers is really worth it before 50. I mean, I did 1 to 50 with only Tree of Whispers in 8 hours, and it was insanely fast. It was not mindless stronghold grinding and super fun. But it gets more and more useless afterwards, especially because the Tree of Whispers hardly drops any ancestral items. I've been experimenting lately, and only sacreds. My last 10 caches have been only sacreds. I've not seen a single ancestral, and it used to be more feelingly. So yeah, I completely gave up on the Tree of Whispers apart from like world bosses and Legion events. And yes, Legion events are still worth it. I would not skip on them. They have been my sole level source. Level 50, I get level 50, straight up started entering Legion events. I get level 60, straight up started entering Legion events. Because end of the day, they're kind of like a little bit of a level leech event. And with Stoking the Fire, there's another 5% bonus XP you're getting. So it's 5% bonus XP for the fire, for the potion, for the bonus XP you get from your seasonal tier, plus the bonus XP from playing together with your friends or being close to friendly characters. That all adds up together and makes Legion events truly worth it. And especially if the Legion event is a Tree of Whisper event, perfect. You get that done. And then I always tend to go into the PvP area, kill the PvP boss, kill the other PvP boss, 10 whispers. I mean, it takes me 2 minutes to kill both bosses with teleporting around and riding around if they are there. You can also hand in the shards, takes you another 2 minutes and you get 6 whispers. That is worth it because it's just XP you get like with so minimal effort. But apart from that, you're truly down to Nightmare Dungeon grinding. And if you're interested to know which ones are actually the fastest one to go through, which ones are the nicest ones to do, we currently have Alder's Cave, Sarad's Lair, Mercy's Reach, and Deadman's Dredge. In this case, I would highly recommend to stack them on Sarad's Lair runes, because this is like blind burrows, blind barrows. I still don't know how to pronounce this. Unable to. So amazing. Like a lot of spiders, easy enemies to clear, kill some silken spiders, kill the boss, super good. The same goes for Deadman's Dredge. That one feels incredibly well as well. Can highly vouch for these two. Nostrava Deepwood, Comdor Temple, Hoarfrost Demise. Hoarfrost Demise is super fun, but there's Corpse Bows, Tomb of the Saints, and Pallet Delve. These are definitely the best dungeons when it comes down to just easy going through and not getting annoyed by the dungeon, because there are some of these new nightmare dungeons. Korvala Ramparts, it's just quite annoying to do. Stockades, I really dislike it. Shifting City, it's just because the golds you have to do inside the dungeon are quite annoying. Now, I hope this will help you to fly faster through your content. Also, drop in the description below which nightmare dungeon is your favorite and how have you actually leveled from 1 to 50 the fastest. Plus, how many hours did you put into this season? I'm at 42 already. I'm planning to put another 30, 40 probably in. Tier 100 clears, clearing Uber Lilith, having fun. That's kind of what I plan to do. If you're looking for the Sever Summoner with millions of crits on the Barber Heart, or rather the True Summoner, which actually is like not using a Ring of Metal on a True Summoner, bibbity bobbity, super fun.